When you heard him talk about you on Whacked Out Murals and posting the Taylor freestyle, I saw you retweet it and say it was the edibles. What were your thoughts when you first heard that?
That's my nephew, man. He's a rapper, man. He's supposed to speak his mind and tell his truth.
Yeah.
That's the way he felt, you know what I'm saying? And he has the right to say that. I'm his big homeboy, so I have to take what's given to me from his perspective because he's speaking truth.
Yeah.
And the truth shouldn't hurt you. It should make you better. You know what I'm saying? I'm one to accept truth when it's brought to me directly. He feels that I shouldn't have played that. Damn, I was on them edibles, my nigga. I got to be more careful. You right, nephew.
I mean, there was like an AI transposed version of you on that song, which was crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
that shit was diabolically, like, I don't even know, like, one of the weirdest things.
But the crazy part is, I could say it. What had happened was, that's how niggas say it. What had happened was, I did a collaborative post with someone. You know, you do a collaborative post.
And you do a lot of those.
Right. So when I do it, I don't listen to the music. I just see gin and juice because it's my brand.
Right.
So when I post it, I'm thinking I'm posting gin and juice. I don't know what song this is. I'm not hip to everybody's music.
Right.
Then I get the word, nephew didn't like what you did. What did I do? You played some music. What music? Then I had to go look at I'm like, oh, that's cuz. Damn. So then I deleted it, called nephew, left him a message because he ain't pick up. He was working on his shit. I left him a message, nephew, this Uncle Snoop. I got the message. I apologize. I was fucked up. My bad.
Did you feel like at all like weird about like that, like Drake using your voice?
Man, I don't want to be in nobody's shit, man. I like being in my own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because you didn't know that was happening.
No, I didn't.
To me, like, if you were gonna do that, like, you should like tap in, like, hey, I'm gonna use your voice on some shit.
But see, I'm such a big figure. I'm Uncle Snoop.
Right.
I'm accessible to everybody, so everybody feels like they can because I don't have too many parameters when it comes to me. But when it comes to beef, that's a real parameter that I do have. I don't get in nobody's beef. I'm usually the one who ends the beef. But if it's out of my reach, then I step out and allow two men to get an understanding. And that's what I feel like these two men and two rappers should establish, where they don't need me to take sides or jump in. I'm from the West. So my heart lies on the West.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to this shit, you gonna handle your business because you from the motherfucking West.
Right.
You don't need no help.
Right.
And if you needed help, you wouldn't have to ask. I'd have been on the double.
That's fair. What are your thoughts on the lawsuit?
Next question.
I just gotta ask. Yeah.
Next question. Well, you know, on the West, we hold court in the streets, girl.
Fair. See, that's all. Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's just what we call it.
Yo,
pause. We hold court in the streets. Hey, all right. So, couple reactions there. First and foremost, I saw a comment or two say, nah, Snoop, stop lying. All right, we could talk about the post, the collaborative post. I've seen those as well. Like, I get collaboration posts sometimes. Me, I don't move so fast. Snoop probably gets 50 million times the amount of collaborative posts on his IG than somebody like me gets. So I could see himself making mistakes here and there, right? Or possibly collaborating and acknowledging and allowing something on his IG that maybe he didn't give a full review. I get it. And he's very, very active on social media, always playing and clowning and trolling and all that. Snoop has reacted and talked on his IG about RBE battles. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very, very active, right? So I want to give him a pass there. You know what I'm saying? As far as the position that he's taking. I know people sometimes want to call bullshit or realistic, right? I'm not calling bullshit here. I believe him. I think that Snoop was spoken like a true OG in this. His willingness and his maturity to say, man, I didn't call Kendrick and say, hey, nephew, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? That is of the stature and the level of an OG. Being able to accept when you're wrong or possibly may have slighted somebody behind an action that maybe they didn't deserve to, or maybe you didn't mean to, right? So that's dope that he takes such a public position. Like, yo, Snoop is to be protected, right? Let's not get it twisted. Snoop is to be protected. He is one of our greats. He is one of our super OGs. He is one of our legends. He is to be protected in the hip hop culture and community, people. Okay. I really respect his answer here. I really, really do. And he said he deleted it. Stuff like that, I'm pretty sure people could take account of or remember. Like, oh, he deleted it. It's obviously not still there right now. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna get to Drake. I'm gonna get to Drake. And just his continued position of even how he handles stepping in between beefs that don't involve him, trying to mediate or falling back. But then he did have that stern opinion, well, not stern opinion, that stern position saying, look, I'm the West, though. My heart is in the West. I'm over here. Interpret that clearly. Like, I'm cool with Drake. I fuck with Drake. You know what I'm saying? It's a rap battle. Let me step back, let them handle their handle. But if it really, really comes down to it, you know what side I'm choosing. Hey, and it's like Drake, once again, you're going to have to unfollow the whole industry because everybody at this point has said something that you probably don't like or has been opposite of your position, right? And then last but not least, second to last, the lawsuit. So what's your position on the lawsuit? Hey man, next question. He tried to sidestep the shit. He's like, come on, man. I'm on my promo run right now. I'm over here trying to promote my album with Dr. Dre. I don't want to get into that. Nah, I need that answer. Look, man, we hold court in the street. A cease and desist is for hoes. Drake, those were your lyrics. Damn, dog. Look, I know there's big business, man, at play here, but this is just never going to go over good. And that's why I said there's no return for Drake's hip hop position and legacy. He just has to be a pop star in many people's eyes for the rest of his life. You already got to pass on the ghostwriting and all that type of stuff. But yeah, there's just so much about this that just doesn't feel cultural, doesn't feel hip hop, and it's tarnished forever. It is what it is. He can still put out some classic songs and some classic albums, and we'll be here for it. But legacy and hip hop ranking wise, it's over. It's over, dog. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. All right, let me get to this last point about Drake and about positions like this. We already knew it was a misfire when Drake did his song, and he was just like, whoever represent out there, claim to set out there, my nigga YG, my nigga CB, my nigga Chuck T, Game and YG and all these people that he's trying to claim out there, right? Or I should say give kudos to, right? Of course, it's a misfire, but there's also a second element that he's playing there. It's the same thing when he does the Snoop rendition on Tailor Made, right? There's a little bit of a psychology there. He's using his position, his clout, who he is, how big of an artist that he is, his relationships as he thinks that they are, and he's playing a little bit of divide and conquer. It's not a bad chess move at all, or it wasn't at the time. It didn't work. You might sacrifice your queen thinking you're about to get a checkmate, or you might just be down a queen and get your ass done off. It happens. It was a smart move. It just didn't work. I promise you, it was divide and conquer at its best of what he was attempting there, because he's calling out reputables and some of the heaviest weights out there. Snoop Dogg. It doesn't get too much bigger on the West other than the Snoop Dogg and the Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? And look at even the lyrics when he's using Snoop's voice on Tailor Made. Hey, nephew. And he's kind of like paying homage a little bit in some of the lyrics that he's using and the wording that he's using in that verse. But here goes Snoop, like, hey, my heart's in the West, man. Like, as far as court, we all caught in the street. He not fucking with it. And little small interviews like this just continue to hurt Drake. Believe it or not. CB, footage of him out there in the club dancing along to Not Like Us and all that. You can say, hey, it's just a song. Cool, I got you. You saw YG's response. Fuck out of here. He wasn't having no parts of it at all. The DeMar DeRozans, LeBron showing up at the pop-out concert, so forth and so on. I mean, we already know how so many people is picking a side, and then Drake ends up getting on stage talking about, like, man, these people backstab you. Be careful who your friends are. It's the industry, man. It's the industry, and he's lost a lot of his footing. But, Snoop's reaction here just shows how much Drake misfired, and this isn't a Kendrick big shout-out moment. But if you really believe all of that, and if you believe some of the tactics of slight divide and conquer and pulling on reputables out there because you know that that's where Kendrick's from as this beef is starting to boil up, right? If you understand all of that, then you have no choice but to say, like, this just shows Kendrick's respect. If people like YG said, fuck out of here, man. I'll try to. He maybe won a game to put. Me and Game is so cool, right? Game is. I ain't saying shit. Snoop over here denouncing your actions, your lawsuits right now, and talking about my heart is in the West. It just gets worse. Dr. Dre came out on stage during Kendrick's concert and said, I see dead people, B. Before the fucking song starts, as Kendrick got to the fucking a minor part 5 times, rewinding it on stage. Crazy. So the Dr. Dre's, the Snoop Dogg, the only person right now that's of really, really big stature. I'm not talking about like media, like academics or more or nothing. I'm talking about of these type of caliber of people. Now, recently seems to be 50 Cent. He's the only person that's helping Drake a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with helping Drake. You know what I'm saying? But he's throwing some lifeline out there for people's perception of the situation to try to help a little bit and just like, guys, don't think of it as bad as y'all are seeing it. It's not. And we've seen Drake and 50 together after the diss songs dropped. So I just feel like a lot of it loans to Kendrick's respect out there. Whether you're Snoop, hey nephew, I apologize, I was wrong. Whether you're YG and all these people picking us, DeMar DeRozan, all these people picking a side. He's clouded up out there, dog. It is what it is. And I think Drake feeling like I'm the king. I don't think he expected that. I don't think he expected to see people choose up like that. You know, hence him even being bold enough to try to do a Tupac voice and a Snoop Dogg voice and call other West Coasters out on his tracks. All of it backfired in the name of Kendrick. So, all right. That's the Snoop piece and the little small reaction to how this all still continues to show the difference currently, culturally, respect-wise, and hip-hop-wise between Drake and Kendrick. Let's get to this Quando Rondo update and the wiretaps, right? Very unfortunate stuff here because as we just continue to look back, like, damn, everybody was affected. Everybody lost out. Everybody. Right? So you got King Von, rest in peace, deceased, shot and killed. You got Lil Durk in jail right now, facing some heavy charges. If I put up a poll right now, I would think that a lot of people would vote that it's not looking too good. It's looking more worse than it is good in Durk's situation right now. Who else we got? We got Quando Rondo. He was just sentenced. He's on his way to jail, starts serving just over about 2 years. He goes in January, right? You got his cousin, Lil Pop, shot and killed, murdered. You got the other OTF members allegedly sliding for Von in jail, right, with Durk, right? You got Lil Tim, the man that shot King Von. So he ended up going through a lot himself. He was shot that night. He's doing Vlad interviews talking about the shit bag that he had to get used to and all the surgeries and whatnot. And, you know, moving around right now, he has to look over his shoulder for probably the rest of his life. He was just recently arrested. These guys got a lot going on. Like, this didn't work out for anybody, you know, and it's never really supposed to. This is why they say cliche, a casket of jail. It's not, it's true. It's cliche, but it's true. It's a true outcome. But when I look back at the sentencing paperwork for Quando Rondo and I started to see the wiretap stuff, I said, let me look through the docket a little bit more. And I was just like, wow, that's just crazy. Like, who would have thought? Now, the reason why, even though he's already sentenced, right, and took his deal, I have a whole different point to go on with this wiretap stuff and the charges that he actually pleaded out to that I'm going to get to. But let's just see some of this real quick. Now, at this time, I'm going to call on the prosecutor to describe the status of the discovery in this case. Mr. Thomas, prosecution side. Mr. Thompson, yes, Your Honor. Discovery in this case has been prepared. We have a court order that we disclose sealed documents used. There was search warrants and subpoenas and things like that. I've heard indiscernible order issuing the ability to disclose a T3 Wiretaps have been signed and should be filed forthwith at any time now. Okay. So that's the prosecution talking about when they say T3, is that Title 3? Title 3 wiretaps, right? I learned a little bit about that type of stuff and the different levels of wiretaps in the wire, but let's continue. Just a brief one, real quick, of the prosecutor's sign off there. Okay, let's go to the second one. This is now questions back and forth from the judge. Exhibit 5 is the conversation where, and he's talking to, I believe, either the agent or somebody from the prosecutor's side. Question, Exhibit 5 is the conversation where he's talking with Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley is one of Quando Rondo's codees, okay? Quando Rondo's last name is Bowman. So when we see Bowman, or when you see Taekwon or Taekwon, however you pronounce it, Taekwon Bowman, when you see that, that's Quando, okay? Bradley is a codee. Exhibit 5 is the conversation where he's talking with a Mr. Bradley, correct? And then I believe this is the agent responding and testifying. Yes. And they're talking about the Mexican, right? The gentleman who's the cartel plug, that conversation? Yes, sir. Question? Yes. Yeah. And the entire conversation is centered around, that's Quando right there, trying to tell Mr. Bradley, don't deal with that Mexican. He's real crip, or words that effect, right? They're answering in court. Phone call tapped conversations. Let's get to this third one real quick, because that right there is supposedly them talking about the plug. Let's get to them talking about other drug related things that he was charged with. What's most concerning, Your Honor, for the government is this count 10, the conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery. Actually, this isn't the drugs. This is the robbery. Hold on. The conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery. On April of 2023, very early on, the interceptions, Mr. Grant outlined a plan that he had to acquire 10 GPS trackers, attach them to 10 vehicles, have other individuals do surveillance on those 10 vehicles, and set up to do the robberies. And they were going to do 10 robberies, 10 trackers, 10 cars, 10 robberies. He did indicate in his calls that he had used his girlfriend's Amazon account to purchase these trackers, and then did confirm with Miss Orr that he did, in fact, have these trackers, and she picked them up. And then there was another call involving one of his co-conspirators, where one of his co-conspirators, Mr. Taekwon Bowman, or Taekwon Bowman, that's Quando, did indicate that there were more trackers at Frida's house, that being his Aunt Frida's house. And Mr. Grant indicated, I've already got plenty of them. Don't worry about that. Let's start to get into the point of why I even brought up the wiretap stuff. So they got him on wiretaps talking about alleged Mexican plugs. There's way more in this paperwork as they talk about fentanyl and pills and Percocets. And then obviously the one that y'all just saw right there, tracking devices to put on 10 different cars so that they could track cars and set up robberies. It's a scary world, people. Please take care of yourselves to the best ability possible. Watch your backs. Now, Quando pleaded out to a lot of these charges. Some of them were dismissed as part of his plea agreement, right? But he also pleaded out to a lot of this stuff as well. To have a detective who's wiretapping you and catching you discussing robberies via GPS trackers and drug deals, you want to ask yourself, this is Quando Rondo. This is the big rapper that made it. This guy he's famous. He's got songs with NBA Youngboy. He's got songs with this person and songs with that person. This is the topic that I just want to surround around all of that. I think we get very, very naive about where some of these people are financially, right? You don't realize the link that I probably created all the way back to how I started this shit, putting up, the diamond chains and all that, right? With Jalen Hurts. It's all relevant. It's all irrelevant. All relevant. People look the part. People dressed the part. People got the jewelry, the chains, the diamonds, the cars. I don't see the houses too much. And if I do see the houses, I'm not sure if they're leased, Airbnb, rented. I don't know. I like, for example, obviously Dirk is a homeowner. In his plea bargain, I'm not plea bargain, his bail package, it said he put up $2.3 million in equity. That doesn't mean that his in 2 properties. That doesn't mean that his 2 properties are worth 2.3 in combination. That means that there's 2.3 in equity. Okay, principal versus what you still principal versus equity. All right. If you buy a house for $100,000 and the bank loans you $100,000 and you have a 30-year $100,000 mortgage, if you pay into the principal and then you have $10,000 that's paid into the principal, and of course the rest of that mortgage is going to things like insurance and interest and taxes, right? You pay that out of escrow. But the principal that you're paying off, that turns into your equity. You could take lines of credit out on your equity. That is money that is considered an asset, right? So if you pay off half your house, half of that money is looked at damn near as cash. So within his 2 properties, he's paid off at least $2.3 million that he was able to put up in equity. So that's good. That's dope, right? But going back to being established, when you're in some of these lifestyles, right, and you have to have like a gigging type of way of feeding yourself, right? You have your ups, you have your downs. Sometimes you're booked, sometimes you're not booked. They're talking about Meek Mill went from getting booked for $250,000 now to his booking price, and what certain people may be offering him is in a range of like 50 to 70. I would love to be booked for $70,000 to go perform a couple songs. But the point that I'm making is, what if your lifestyle is still at the point of where you were getting booked for $250,000 3 times a week, 4 times a week? You see, when Rick Ross does his gems that he tries to drop, he says, listen, on a Friday night, I might come to your club and I might charge you $100,000. But on a Tuesday night, when things are slow, I might let a promoter book me for $40,000. Point is, I want everything. I'm not leaving no money behind. 50 Cent showed the same depiction in his movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. Remember, he was like, other people on the block, they weren't taking the coins. He had bottles of change in his crib. He was like, fiends walk up here with pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters. I'm taking it because it's money. You see what I'm saying? And that hustle mentality is because what's here today ain't necessarily here tomorrow. These careers go. The biggest artists out there are set. And they are the minority. There's so many of these other artists that we see. They are so fucked up and y'all don't know it. Quando Rondo is an established artist, right? So you want to ask yourself, why are you having phone calls with people about putting 10 GPS trackers on people's cars to set up robberies? Why are you conducting drug sales? Because what we see in front of us is not what's really happening behind the scenes. That's the big topic here for me. There were stories like that of people in battle rap as well, people that you might think are the biggest of the biggest battle rappers, but behind the scenes, there's DMs and text messages and emails about weeds or whatever, and it's just like, if you're that good as far as financially what's going on in the space that we see publicly, then you don't need that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people that I really, really believe got it like that, they shouldn't be having to make money illegally. Okay? Like, imagine us hearing right now, Jay-Z, who's a billionaire, gave his boy Tata $100,000 to front a couple packs. You would scratch your head. Like, I don't get it. Why would you need to put any money in legal business when you have all this legitimate business and legitimate money, right? Now you come all the way down off of cloud 9 and you talk about the Quando Rondos of the world. I might see your music video on YouTube. I might see you pop up out at the VMAs on a red carpet or something like that. I might see you on Vlad's interviews or whatever. I don't see none of these niggas of a certain caliber and just assume that they got it like that. I don't care about your videos showing me the Lamborghinis and the cars and the girls twerking and the diamond chains. A lot of jewelry be fake. A lot of the girls be rented or next to nothing or cheap or just there just to get they look to. The cribs be other people's cribs and Airbnbs and all type of rentals and production fucking shit. I'm like, it's just, or the label putting this budget behind you, making you, because you just got to look at this is the entertainment world. They are here to entertain us, and they are here to look the part that we buy into. So when I was reading this shit, I was just like, nah, I'm not shocked. I was more shocked that whatever Quando Rondo had going on was at the level of motherfuckers going in and getting T3 fucking Title 3 wiretaps. I was more shocked at that. Like, damn, y'all niggas was getting tapped, whatever y'all, they was on you like that. I'm more surprised at that than to hear about the type of shit he's doing outside of his music career. Right? It's just a harsh reality that not everybody's diamonds dances like Jalen Hurts. See how I just brought all that full circle, pun intended. Shout out to everybody that's putting RBE in the chat. It's sad, man, but yeah, we gotta live in reality. All right, let's go to this. I got a small topic around this. I was debating, and if you was on last night's stream, you heard me ask the question: should we jump on OTF Jam stuff? You know, it's all relevant to Dirk's case, and I got more of just I guess a subtopic than I care about reacting to what he's actually saying. And if you saw it yourself going around social media and you see me kind of like just flipping through it right now, it's long. It's a whole big rant where he's, you know, OTF Jam responds to snitch allegations in Lil Durk's case. The paperwork gonna tell it all. Okay. Now, to be fair, you know, if you're a street guy and you got killers around you, if you are being called a snitch, you probably want to clear that up, because fuck just your reputation. You could lose your life behind it. Okay. So I understand. But in doing so, the type of stuff that's in his post, Boona, you know, you a lame ass nigga. I wish you would have known your little hoe ass was gonna go home and choose a side when you. All right, so he's got people named Boona, and he's going at Lil Durk's baby mother in here, and there's Jari, whoever, my nigga. If y'all read this, he's just snapping on a bunch of people about a bunch of different things going on. And here's what kills me now with this, all right? Because I'm not gonna read it. I don't care to read it. I don't have time to read it. All right. One thing that he says in the post, he says, when the discovery comes out, y'all are gonna realize I'm not the reason the feds got on to us. Does that sound weird to say? Let me just take it off the screen. Does that sound weird to say, people? When the discovery comes out, y'all are going to find out how the feds got onto us. It wasn't because of me. It sounds like guilt, right? It's like, dude, you're going to write that, you know, you need to be careful what you're wording right now. The whole world is watching this shit. The whole world is watching anybody from OTF. The whole world is watching anything updated with Lil Durk's name tied to it. When discovery comes out, you're going to find out that I'm not the reason the feds got on to us. Zoo, he did a live. He was better, much better with his wording. He was like, how do you pay for a murder? And these, he was just like, yo, he's innocent. So I don't know. Like, he just had a wording and a position and an angle that only painted innocence. OTF Jam is talking in ways that can be interpreted as guilt. Like, just reword it. Like, I'm not the reason that the feds jumped on us in the first place. It wasn't my phone that was being tapped. They got somebody else that was. It's like you're almost admitting guilt. Like, you gotta be. It's not just like, oh, ARP. You picking apart the words too much. At this level of what's going on and how big this indictment is and how many people are tied to this and can continue to be affected, and the fact that the head honcho, the guy with all the multi millions, is sitting up there, the one that fed all y'all and gave him $50,000 in cribs and cars when he came home, he's the one that's sitting up and locked up right now. Even your wording needs to be 100. Feed that shit to Chat GPT and get Chat GPT to fucking write up a fucking IG post for you right now, because it's that sensitive. It's that sensitive. I don't got nothing to do with it. So if I'm sitting here like, yo, everything is going to be scrutinized and has high levels of sensitivity on it right now, why wouldn't the people involved feel that way? especially if you got OTF in your name. Okay. The second point behind this is there's a whole bunch of names and situations in this. It's like you're giving more information to the public, and let's say it's just the public, that people don't know. That people, these are street niggas. On top of that, there's basically threats and violence and aggression in this whole shit. I smack the shit out of you. If I'm an OTF member, you know what I'm acting like right now? I'm acting like Exhibit B that we pulled up yesterday in Dirk's filing. I'm all outreach. I'm all community uplifting. I'm all positivity. I ain't on shit. I ain't got no aggression, no violence, no threats, no nothing going on. Unless I'm dropping some music. And even that, ain't none of my topics going to be anything close to that shit. Right? Like now's not the time to be dissing people and calling out names and show I'll slap you and this and that. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, when does the time come when you say everybody needs to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down? Does that time ever come? Does it ever? Even when it has nothing to do with criminal shit. Motherfuckers is begging Drake to do that. His best friend DJ Academics is saying that. 50 Cent is giving him that advice. Everybody's telling Drake it has nothing to do with anything criminal. They just see he got a lot going on. A lot going on, period. And they're saying, yo, Drake, just go away. Just go sit down, go away, let people miss you. Don't say nothing. No more posts on Instagram for a second. No more interviews, no more streams. Just sit down for us. You don't need the money. Just sit down for a second. Now translate that. If motherfuckers are giving Drake that advice, he ain't got nothing criminal going on. He's not about to lose his freedom or his life, right? Imagine if you're in the middle of a fucking indictment, federal indictment. It shouldn't even have to go around. It shouldn't have to be a bunch of three-way calls. Or, yo, get hit up my lawyer, hit these people up and tell everybody to right now. It should be known because y'all are street. Shut the fuck up, everybody. Sit down. Don't be saying no names. Don't be shedding no new stories out to the public. Don't be threatening people right now. Don't be saying my name right now. Nothing. Everybody chill the fuck out. It just amazes me, y'all. It fucking amazes me. It amazes me. Sorry, it's true, but word got out. Facts. Word. Yep. A couple. I ain't a rapper though. It's just incredible to me, y'all. Yeah, and but see, here's the thing. I tried to be fair when I started this rant, and I said I could understand the need to clear up your name because snitch allegations can get you killed. I understand that. But in the process of that, well, I wouldn't have nothing. I wouldn't be on nothing else if I'm even doing that. You know what I'm saying? I forget. Is OTF Jam in jail or is he outside right now? If I'm outside and I'm OTF Jam right now, I get the fuck away from everybody because I need to wait for the time when my name gets cleared if I'm not involved in any telling. So I need to get away from everybody until my name gets cleared because you don't know if somebody, you know what I'm saying? I can't trust anybody right now. So I got to protect myself. I'm going to lay low. I'm going to lay low. Right. But God forbid, even if I can't do that, the last thing I'm doing is talking about other shit going on. I'm just not. These are all supposed to be street niggas. And 70% of the information that we get directly from them. All right, I'm sorry, Jay. I'm done. Anyway, all right. I wanted to mix 3 topics today. Once again, the Quando Rondo wiretaps, OTF Jam, as it relates to the fact that we've been covering Lil Durk's situation, and the Snoop apology, and how I think that continues to affect Drake show Kendrick's power, and just call out the divide and conquer that Drake was playing, which was a good chess move. It just didn't work, right? It just didn't work. And it continues to show that it didn't work. It's tough, man. It's tough. But yeah, we had to get those 3 topics together here because I don't want to fall behind on some of this stuff. Yeah, we got a lot going on this podcast, y'all. Yo, real quick, before I get up out of here, one last thing. One last thing, y'all. One last thing before I leave. Let me share this. Hold on. All right, this is my Instagram. All right, this is my gram. How do I get to, hold on, where's my profile? Okay. Y'all see my profile? Yeah, y'all see my profile. I just wanted to bring up some of these posts and just say thank you to everybody. So this one I posted on my gram. I got it yesterday. Vibes Eli Rax. I really appreciate you, homie. Says this podcast is about to be one of the top ones in hip hop entertainment. Keep going. He got his report that the Sorry It's True podcast is his top podcast that he's been watching. It's an honor. Another one here. Somebody sent me this one to my DM. Their top 5 podcasts that they were watching was stamped as Drink Champs, Club Shay Shay, and the Sorry It's True podcast. To even be in that company is incredible. It's fucking incredible, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And to see some of this type of stuff, like here's when we did the reaction to the Tyson Jake Paul fight, and they included me in their write-up, video. This was a pretty big video too. It's probably at 500,000 views by now. So it's just dope to see the continued expansion of the Sorry It's True podcast. I really, really appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all support. I was watching Academic's video earlier today about Jay-Z stepping away from Diddy, right? And he had a whole thought pattern or a whole angle about, what constitutes a friend. All right, he broke that down. I was like, damn, I had that same shit in my podcast, right? I was just like, that's very similar thought patterns. Right. And then he had another angle to it, another piece of it, where he was saying, like, yo, Alex Spiro, we already are with you. You're already winning. We already don't believe this case. But then you're going to try to tell us that Jay-Z and Diddy ain't friends? Like, you're ruining it. I had that same angle in my shit, too. I was just like, all right, whatever. But it's cool, man, to see that at least when certain minds and intellect levels align in opinions, because y'all use multiple platforms as y'all sources of information as well as y'all entertainment. Y'all rock with different people for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And to see some of those commonalities, I don't mind at all. I think that everybody has their ways of talking and, their opinions and their personality, which gives you guys the ability to say, I can listen to the same topic, but in like 10 different places. If I come off 100% like somebody else, you can just pick one. You don't need both of us, right? So we all have that uniqueness. But the thought patterns of somebody that has high intellect, when I see myself align with other people like that out there, I don't bitch about that at all. I'm not that guy that jumps out there, yo, somebody copying my shit. Like, that shit is corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. And more so, I attribute that to, especially somebody that's smart. I just be like, yo, similar thought patterns. You know what I mean? So, it takes one to know one sometimes. So as I look around the internet and I watch some of my peers, and I don't mean peers as far as success in podcasting, I mean peers as far as just some of the topics that we're covering. And I see certain alignments and certain differences and certain things that are the same. And I think it's cool to pay attention to, because I study the whole environment. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, really brick by brick. Last but not least, y'all, if you are trying to attend the Now What event in LA, I put the free tickets up on my Twitter. Hit my Twitter up and find that Eventbrite link and go reserve your free tickets to see the flyer that we just put out. Some upcoming battles for y'all for free. Okay. All right, we'll be back ASAP. Appreciate everybody as always, y'all. Sorry It's True.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.